Hey there, it's me, the Matrix Refugee, and yeah, it's been a week since I posted a vlog post. That's the kind of week I've been having. Last week was, I admit, extremely busy between one thing and another. I think my last vlog post, which unfortunately I wound up having audio problems as I discovered listening to it, so I apologize for that. Something went weird with the camera. No idea what, but anyway, um, yeah. Last time I posted was Monday of last week. I believe that was the evening of the 4th, and here it is the morning of the early in the morning of the 13th. So it's been over a week, and I really apologize for that. It's been just one of those weeks. Tuesday, Tuesday I had to work, and it was crazy busy. It was just one of those days when it was a nice day and everybody was in the store shopping for some odd reason. Usually on the nice days are the quiet days, but for some strange reason that one wound up being a busy day, so I wound up getting horribly exhausted that day. And then Wednesday was actually a good day, albeit kind of a busy one, because even though I had the day off, my mother and I walked up to St. William's, what used to be our parish here in town, because yeah, they have a perpetual adoration chapel in the basement. So we went there and prayed for an hour. Excuse me. Uh, air bubble in my throat. Anyway, yeah. So it's a nice, quiet place and nice, peaceful location, and just went there and you know, as one uh simple but holy person said, he looked at me and I looked at him. So did a lot of thinking, did a little soul searching, just talked to the Lord about what was on my mind, and just this is going to be a crazy week, Lord. Please give me the strength I'm going to need. So, Thursday I had an appointment with my therapist, and that went actually very well. She says I'm showing progress, and I seem to be balancing out, aside from, the odd bumps here and there, and it's, I'm pleased, yeah. I'm glad to be working with her, because she's the kind of therapist that tries to maintain an objective angle towards things. It's like she listens to me, offers suggestions, will point things out that I could be doing, but it's not, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. It's more, she gets that I'm different, and she gets that what works for other people may not necessarily work for me. So it's more, finding things that are there that I can work with, rather than, you know, try to put something in there that isn't. I mean, she's not like my previous therapist before her, who was trying to blame all of my problems on the fact that I have been homeschooled. Yeah, that was not fun. I kept trying to educate her on this. I kept trying to point out that, there are all these famous people that were, home educated or autodidacts or whatnot, and, they had normal, healthy lives, or fairly healthy lives. I mean, Abraham Lincoln only went to actual, well, an actual one-room schoolhouse for, I think it was like a total of 6 months in his entire life. And most of his learning he either did at home, or he borrowed books from people and read stuff. He pretty much put himself through law school just reading law books. You know? Thomas Edison probably was dyslexic or something like that, and his mother sent him to school, but the teacher kind of put him out, saying, he's, stubborn and hard to work with. So Mrs. Edison wisely took him home and, you know, taught him what he needed to know, and from then on he, pursued what he was good at, which was tinkering with stuff. Kate Greenaway was not exactly in the best of health, and so she wasn't able to go to formal school, so she had a private tutor and, you know, basically taught herself how to be an artist. Jane Austen went to school a little bit, but most of her learning she got at home, and most of it was her father turning her loose in the family library. Uh, I would cite H.P. Lovecraft because, again, another homeschooler, but not exactly the most balanced beam on the, you know, on the balance point. you know, it's a little hard to point to, when you're trying to prove that homeschoolers aren't crazy. When you have somebody who's a bit of an outlier there. No, my problems have nothing to do with homeschooling. My problems have everything to do with my brain not working properly because it grew weird. So fortunately, my current therapist is, more or less of the everybody is different and that's okay and that's actually great school of thinking. I've also had I worked with recently with a nurse practitioner who was just, let's straighten you out so you can have a career. What if I don't want a career, Not everyone wants a career, and not everyone should have a career, because some people are just not cut out for careers. I just don't have the spoons to handle a 9-to-5 job, and that's okay, I don't want a 9-to-5 job. What I hear about office culture, I'm not necessarily sure I'd want to be involved in that. I have a hard enough time dealing with people in a retail environment, you know? And I don't think I'd be able to write horror quite as well as I do if I, hadn't had to deal with, you know, if I sometimes I think if I had never worked retail, I would not be good at writing horror, or I wouldn't be able to recognize good horror, because retail is a scary environment. Trust me on this. So, so moving on. That was Thursday. Friday I worked. And this was both the Friday before the holiday, so it was getting a little, it was crazy busy. I mean, Fridays are busy anyway because people are doing their shopping because they just got paid and they need groceries in the house. So, yeah, Thursday through Sunday is busy in our store. So, and also Friday, that time of the month, crept on up on me. I believe it was a little tiny bit early. TMI, sorry, but just mentioning that in passing. So, didn't have a lot of spoons to begin with, and I wound up with a few lists, which was aggravating, but I got through it. Saturday, I had to work because, again, it was the day before the holiday, and, oh boy, we've been selling a lot of plants and flowers in the store. Now, when I say flowers, I mean cut flowers. There's a bit of a difference. And there's potted flowers and those cut flowers. And we were selling a lot of both. I think this crazy long, record-breaking levels of snow winter that we had, I think that's really put people into, we need spring overdrive. So, as I said to one cashier, we could get a bunch of fake flowers from the doll store and resell them here, and I think people would buy them. Because everybody was buying flowers. Everyone and their brother was buying flowers for their mother. Yeah, I got a rap there. Anyway, so yeah, tons of flowers, tons of plants, tons of things that grow out of soil, or were growing out of soil. So, and it was a bit of a long shift. So, long in the sense of several hours on end, and long in the sense of very busy, and therefore lots of people toing and froing, and while I like it when it is steady. When there's like steady line, when there's like steady number of people coming through the lane, that's good. I mean, when it's slow and you get maybe people coming in one here, one there, long pauses in between. That's when it can get extremely dull because you're not doing anything. But when you get tons of people, and, there are lines going across the front main aisle. That's when it gets to be, the hours get stretched out because there are more people crammed into those hours. So, that was tiresome. What else? Oh yes, Thursday. One other thing on Thursday, I did some Mother's Day shopping for my mother, and I made the mistake of going to Burlington on a nice day on the bus. So, the bus was busy, and I wound up getting in late, and I wound up getting home much later than I wanted to, which kind of tired me out. So, fortunately, Fortunately, it all worked out. Mother's Day, I gave my mom her Mother's Day present, which was a box of what it was actually a little box that I'd had made up. It was this, nice little flowered carton with an assortment of wrapped Godiva and Lindt truffles, and those are her favorites. So she duly appreciated that. Also, the weather has gotten. I am not sure nobody told me there was no such thing as climate change, because I remember May being, cool and rainy. Now it seems like the past few years we get a week during the early part of May, and usually falling around Mother's Day, when the weather gets warm and we get 80s and near 90-degree weather temperatures, and, well, temperatures Fahrenheit, that is, for those of you who are in areas that use the Celsius scale, which I sometimes feels a little better. Anyway, yeah, moving right along. I lost my place in my mental book, so yeah. Sunday was a bit warm, and I kind of wasn't welcoming that. And I wound up scurrying to try and get a table fan for my room, and I wound up grabbing one out of the storage room that was a non-quiet fan. So, while it worked during the day when it was warm, when it got to be nighttime and time to go to bed, I had trouble sleeping Sunday night because the fan was too loud in my room. So I tried opening the window to let a breeze in, but then I was hearing night noises and was getting to the point where it was so late it was early that I'm getting birds, so I kind of had a really rough night sleeping Sunday. But fortunately, and unfortunately, the next day I had to work, so that was not a good day. So, it was one thing after another, and I kind of came home and that day and just sort of crashed. Unfortunately, I slept better the following night, Monday night, because it was a much better, cooler night. So, and today I had off, so I just goofed off. I mean, I needed a day to goof off because things had just been crazy busy and, insanity inducing, and just, So today the most I did was I went for a walk to pick up a pack of V8 juice cans. I've been trying to stay on top of, the 2 servings of vegetables that you're supposed to have a day, and I like V8. I like the taste. I mean, okay, might be a little cliche, have a V8, but I don't know. I like it and it works for me, so you do what you got to do to stay healthy. You do what you got to do to stay healthy. Sorry if there was a blip there. The camera's acting a little funky. Anyway, hopefully it doesn't do what it did the last time. Anyway, and then this evening we went to the library. I found a collection. It was a compilation of some of the Doctor Who graphic novels, comic stories, all bundled into one nice thick book. So that's going to make some interesting reading. And also, I found a plain and simple book on Celtic mythology, because I've been looking for something that's just a real basic, okay, here are the Celtic gods and goddesses you should know about sort of book. I mean, you find hero tales and things like that, but you rarely find, in my experience, or at least in our library, it's like they got books on Greek mythology and Roman mythology and Norse mythology and Egyptian mythology and Chinese mythology and Japanese mythology, but nothing on Celtic mythology. And it's like, I am mostly of Celtic ancestry, and I feel woefully ignorant about, the gods and goddesses of my own culture, so hopefully this will help me fill that void, because, it's like I need to know where my culture came from and where, our stories came from, so always helps to know where you came from so you can know where you're going, I feel. Especially when it comes to stories, Neil Gaiman's statement that there are some fictional stories that tell us, more about the truth than the plain cold facts do, so. Consequently, I haven't been able to do a whole lot in the writing department, because I've just either been too busy or too tired or just too, where is the inspiration to do much in the way of writing. I haven't even been able to do much in, tagging roleplay threads, so hopefully that will change soon, because I feel like I'm letting people down. Plus, I also have a deadline for a story submission that's later this month. It's that anthology of just the it was kind of a non-themed Lovecraftian horror type anthology, and this is the one that I'm sending my modern day updating of Dunwich horror set in a grocery store. You know, the modern analog to Lavinia Whiteley pushing little Wilbur in a shopping cart. Although he rather quickly outgrows the shopping cart, and next thing you know, Will's the one pushing the shopping cart full of meat for... Gee, the Whiteleys sure do buy a lot of meat. They must do a lot of cookouts. Well, I never smelled them cooking anything. What's going on? Trust me, some of the people that you have shopping in, at my store at least, sometimes I wonder, are they really some kind of Lovecraftian beastie? Because some people, we get a few strange cookie people in the store.
So, in fact, not long, I had, dug up the manuscript. No, it's not really even a manuscript, but the typescript for um this current project, Dutch horror in a grocery store. I had dug it up, a few days ago because I'd put it aside to just sort of let it, simmer down a while so I could come back to it and look at it with fresh eyes before I edit it. Not a few days after I did that, there's a guy that comes through my lane that, honest to God, looked like my mental image of old Wizard Whiteley. It was like, he crawled out of the, he crawled out of the book and into my store. So that was kind of okay. Life is imitating art, not necessarily the art I wanted imitating. Not a bad guy. He just looked creepy. There's some people that, you know, they look creepy, but they're okay, And this guy was one of them. Some strange random pop-up there. Took care of that. So, just gotta finish polishing that one up, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and whatnot, and, just get it ready to send off, and I'm sending it as an e-submission, so that kind of takes the, some of the steps out of the process, i.e. printing up the thing. I really hate, I kind of hate printing stuff up because, okay, I don't have a working printer, number one, so that means I gotta take it somewhere to print it out. And that means having to pay for the pages, so I really don't want to pay for the printouts. But you do what you gotta do. And so I'm finishing up that, and I'm looking at the other project, which is not due until, I believe it's October sometime. So that one is the, I believe the title of that anthology is Eldritch Embraces. And their tagline for it is putting the love back in Lovecraft. They're looking for romance stories involving the Cthulhu mythos or some other Lovecraftian element. So that should be that's interesting because, okay, even though our boy doesn't put a whole lot of romance into his stuff, there are some strange things going on behind the scenes. So not above twiddling with that. This is the one I'm. This is the one for which I'm writing. It's tentatively titled The Dunwich Romance, as opposed to The Dunwich Horror. So this is the one I've been blithering about lately. Where I finally came up with a name for the female protagonist. And I stole her name from another Lovecraft story. So this should get interesting. And it's always good, I think, when you're finishing up one project, to have another one ready to go, so that you're always moving, and okay, you let yourself have small breaks here and there, but you keep stuff moving so that you always have something ready to go and something to submit somewhere. So hopefully something will come of that. And on that note, I'll wrap this up and get this off to you. So you all take care, and I'll catch you on the next video.